Vandami Bante, and good evening, everyone. Good morning, everyone in the Western Hemisphere. Welcome to the lesson today on Patana Part 4. I am Tiong Han. I am the meeting co-host who will be helping Bante and everyone in today's session. May we invite Bante to start the teaching. Sādhu, Sādhu, Sādhu.
Okay, we will pay homage to the Buddhas by reciting Namo Tassa 3 times before we start giving them a talk. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Today we are going to start Patana. This is the fourth part of Patana teaching in this Dhamma series. So in our previous talk, we have already explained many different mental process and mind moment. But today we will talk about only jhana, impulsion mind moments, and patana relationship. Craving for something. So without the object, the mind cannot arise. Whenever there's a mind, there must be an object. So in our daily life, we have many different attachments. We have many different objects. For example, here we have a smoker. He may like smoking. The cigar will be his favorite object. In his mind, whenever he saw, he smelled, he may remember the cigar. So that means when he smell the cigar, or when we see the cigar, his mind will incline to smoke. In the picture, we have 3 different persons. The first one is a smoker, another one is a drinker, the last one is a fruit eater. So they may have different attachments, different objects. For example, when normal people see a cigar or cigarette, his mind may not incline to smoke, but a smoker see it, his mind will incline to smoke it. This is also craving or attachment. So especially in our daily life, we have a lot of objects. We want to see something, we wish to hear something, we wish to smell something, and we also wish to taste something, we also wish to feel something. This is attachment. So when we have attachments, then there will be lobha groove. We may have a mental process. So in every single object, whenever we see or we smell or we feel, there will be mental process. Taking the one as object, taking the color as object, the sound as object, the smell, the taste, the feeling, and the sensation. There will be mental process. Before we are going to talk about aramana condition in Patana, we also have to talk about the mental process. The mental process will be Dita Bhavanga, Pas Bhavanga, Bhavanga Chalana, Trembling Bhavanga, Bhagubachira, Rest Bhavanga, Panchara Vajana, that is Phytoadvatin consciousness, Chakku Vijnana, eye consciousness. Sampaditana, receiving consciousness. Sandirana, investigating consciousness. Vatavana, determination or determining consciousness. Up to that we have 7 javanas, embodiment consciousness. Then the dharamana, registering minds. There will be 2 registering minds. So this is the mental process when we see something. Especially when we see a desirable object, greed, attachment, or craving will arise. So similarly, as we have explained before, every single mind moment will have their basis. So now today we are going to talk about javana. We have 7 javanas, 7 embodiment consciousnesses. All of them arise depending on heart base, Hariyavatu. I have said without an object, consciousness cannot arise. There must be aramana, the object. Moreover, there will be Tidita Rupa, mind produce materiality, as we can see in every single mind moment. They can also arise in every single mind moment, but they will perish later than the mind moment or the consciousness. Another one is the Uruja Rupas, temperature produce materiality, and Haraja Rupa, nutriment produce materialities. Actually, these Tidija, Uruja, Harajas, and cause have a relationship have explained before, have been explained in my previous Dhamma talk. That is why today I will not talk about it anymore. So today, if we see something, then there will be base, there will be objects, there will be mind produce materialities, temperature produce materialities, there will be nutriment produce materialities. They will arise together with every single mind moment. Then when we hear something, it will be Sota Vijnana, ear consciousness. Then similarly, we have all other sense doors. Nose door, nose consciousness. Tongue door, tongue consciousness. Body door, body consciousness. And the mind door. Then it will be, we don't have any special consciousness for it. We have Manodara Vajana, mind-oriented consciousness. So in brief, every single mind moment will take object. In the case of mental process, every single mind moment will take color as object. Then again, here we have to talk about aramana, the object. When we talk about objects, okay, as we have a different favorite objects, we may also have different conditions when we talk about partner relationship. Again, we have to show the same picture. Okay, a smoker, see alcohol or beer or wine or any other things, he is not interested in alcohol, beer or wine or anything. He is interested in cigar or cigarettes. So similarly, drinker, when seeing cigarettes, not that much interested in it. So that means when we take something as a normal object in our daily life, there are many objects we don't think it's valuable. We don't think it is essential for us. We don't think it is a very, very highly esteemed object. So we call normal object. Although we have attachment to it, it's just normal, not very high quality, not that much valuable or not that much influential. So when we have normal objects, the conditions will be aramana, object conditions, puricata, pre-nascence condition. It will arise earlier than the eye consciousness or ear consciousness and so on. Here we are going to talk about javana. It will arise earlier than javana. It will arise together with pasbhavanga. That is why it's pre-nascent condition. Then ati. So when existence before disappearing or perishing away or passing away, they can support. They can be the object for mental process, especially for idle mental process. Then avikata, before disappearing, they can be the condition. So whenever we take normal objects, we will have these four conditions. Although it's the designable object, if we don't think it's valuable, if we don't think it's very high quality, then it will just normal objects, aramana, puricata, ati, avikata. Then there are special objects for individual living beings. We have different favorite objects. So if the objects are very attractive, very valuable, or highly esteemed objects, or very influential objects, the object will influence you all the time. For example, like here, a smoker. Whenever he saw a cigarette, his mind was inclined to smoke. His mind is influenced by that object. Cigarette is the most influential object for him. Similarly, drinker, when seeing beer, wine, or alcohol, or any beverage, or you can say any liquor, his mind was inclined, his mind was influenced by that object. We call aramanativity, highly esteemed objects, or influential objects. When we have that kind of object, when taken that kind of object, the conditions will be different. The first one is aramana, another one is atipati. Atipati means chief or influence or highly esteemed. Then again, upanisaya, powerful dependent. It is also really powerful dependent for that kind of people. So depending on that kind of object, his mind can arise. That means lobha, the greed, can arise. Then again, puricata. As it has been mentioned, normal objects. This object also arises earlier than javana, earlier than impulsion consciousness mind moment. That is when they are puricata, pre-nascence. It was the same as before, ati, avikata. So whenever there's an ati, there will be avikata. They will arise together all the time. Every single object, after arising, before perishing, they can be the object for mental process. After perishing or passing away, they cannot be object anymore. That's when they are ati and avikata. So these are normal objects. In our daily life, we have many different desirable objects. we may have many different, the most desirable objects. We may have very valuable objects or highly esteemed objects. When we have very valuable, very desirable, or highly esteemed objects, there will be Aramanativity type. There will be different conditions. Here we have 6 conditions. If we have normal objects, it can be only 4 conditions. Aramana, Purishata, Ati, Avikata. So, we have many different things to explain here, but it will be too long. I will give only one more example. For example, when a Buddhist see the Buddha, it will be wholesome mind. But when a non-Buddhist sees the Buddha, maybe he may get angry. In reality, the Buddha is the most desirable object. He didn't make any mistakes in his lifetime. That is why it must be highly esteemed object for Buddhist people. And because of his different background, when non-Buddhists see the Buddha, it will be anger. It can be just normal objects. For Buddhists, it can be highly esteemed objects, the most valuable object. Okay, this is the first part. We have to talk about the Aramana Bhajaya. Again, we also have many different types. The one is mindful mental process. Manodara Vachana, mindful abiding consciousness. Then there are 7 jhavanas, 7 impulsions. As usual, it will be 2 registering mind, the 2 Tadaramanas. This is a mindful mental process. It can also take designer objects. Sometimes we don't see anything in the present, but we just recall the past objects. We may think about our future. It also can be present objects. The our mind can take present, past, future, any object. But our eye can see only present objects. Okay, now here, when we see something desirable or highly esteemed objects in our minds, it will be Aramana, Adhipati, Upanisaya, Purichata, Ati, Avikata. If we just see normal object with our minds, it can be Aramana, Purichata, Ati, Avikata. Okay, now we have different conditions. So in my school, when I was in the Pali school, some of my friends are smokers. Sometimes they make agreement. Okay, we must not smoke anymore. We will stop smoking. They promise each other, and also they determine. But when they saw somebody smoking, they could not stop. They just go back to previous states, the previous condition. So that means they know the taste of smoke, the taste of cigarette or cigar. They also know the smell of the cigar. That whenever they see or they smell, then they might incline to it. Although we know it's very bad for our health, but we keep doing it. That means here activity means whether it's good or bad. If we think it's valuable for us, it's very attractive for us, then it can be activity type. Activity, Upanisaya, Purichata, Ati, Avikata, together with Aramana. So similarly, there are some other bhikkhus, they like coffee too much. Ordinary bhikkhu will take only one coffee mix, a pack of coffee mix, but sometimes he will take 2 or 3 at least, like that. But anyway, the main thing is we have different objects. It depends on our minds. If we think it is not desirable, it can be just normal. If we think it's the most desirable, it becomes the activity type. Okay, now again, we have wholesome mind. You may remember Venerable Sariputta, when he was, and when he went around ascetic, he saw Venerable Assaji going for alms food. When seeing his behavior and his lifestyles and the way he walk, the way he live, the way he wear, is very attractive for him. His mind inclined to it. And he decided, I should follow the bhikkhu. I should ask the Dhamma from him. He also understood that Venerable Assaji might have some special attainment. And he followed him. And finally, as you have known, he asked a question about Buddha's teaching. Then when Venerable Assaji say short stanza, he could attain Sotapanna. Here, the main thing is seeing a bhikkhu or seeing the Buddha is a wholesome. This is also wholesome mind. It also can be the same types of mental process. When we see with our eyes, it will be eye-to mental process. So in the case of Venerable Sariputta, he highly esteems. He is a valuable, also very attractive, very influential for him. That is why it will be aramana activity, aramanupanisaya, purichata, ati avigata. But ordinary people, there are many other people. When they saw bhikkhu, they make just normal minds. For them, it will be just normal objects. Then it can be only aramana, purichata, ati avigata. Then we have ordinary people and Sotapanna. And ordinary people, their mind is unstable. Their faith is also unstable. But what about a noble person, Sotapanna? His faith is unshakable. He has very strong faith in the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. So when ordinary people see the Buddha, is not sure. We may have a normal object. It can be normal object, or it also can be highly esteemed object, the most valuable object. It depends on how we accept the object. But for about noble person, it will be the more desirable object. Then again, we may have vipassana, namarupa objects. So sometimes if we respectfully do, it will be just normal. So if we don't respectfully practice namarupa, it can be just normal object. Then if we have very strong faith, also if we practice respectfully, then it can be activity. Here in the slideshow, the second one, Anotara Vachana, 7 javanas and 2 dataramana. With this mental process, we can know namarupas. We can contemplate the namarupa as anicca dukkha. So this is for practitioners. Then again, we also have the reviewing knowledges. We can also review jhana after practicing masteries. When we are practicing mastery also, when we are going to review the jhana factors, we must review with this mental process again. Vajana, 7 javanas and 2 dadaramanas. This is, okay, like, actually there will be 7 javanas. This is also ultimate reality, also can be dadaramana. The main thing is, in the javana, it will take ultimate reality as object. It can be highly esteemed object. It also can be ordinary object. But mostly, ultimate reality are very desirable. Then for practitioners, for revealed knowledge, it can be sure adhipati type. Aramana, adhipati, purichata, upanisaya, ati avikata. Sorry, upanisaya, purichata, ati avikata. So again, we also have to understand, again, there will be revealed knowledge for noble people, noble person. For example, Sotapanna, when he practice, when we attain path and fruition knowledge, after that he may review his path knowledge, the fruition knowledge, nibbana, also the defilements he has already eradicated, the remaining defilements. Whenever he review his path and fruition knowledge and so on, it will be the same in the process. Notaravachana, 7 javanas and 2 dadaramanas. At the time, his mind will take the more desirable objects. It also can be adhipati type. Aramana, adhipati, upanisaya, purichata, ati avikata. This is the way we have to understand. Then what about an arahat? When arahat practice vipassana, it will be the same. But they may have functional consciousnesses, functional javanas, functional embodiment. But the cause and relationship, aramana conditions will be the same. Then again, we have revealed knowledge for arahats. When an arahat review jhana or path knowledge, fruition knowledge, nibbana, the defilements he has eradicated, and the remaining defilements, it will be the same. Functional consciousness, functional embodiment will arise 7 times in his mind-dominant process. The aramana conditions will be the same as wholesome embodiment. Again, we have to continue sajata type. In reality, I have already talked about sajata type in my previous Dhamma talk. It's about life continuum, Bhavanga mind moment, Phaidodavatin, and Mindodavatin consciousness, also receiving consciousness, investigating consciousness, I consciousness, and so on, including the Dharamana, registrary mind. But on this time, I have to talk about sajata relationship in the javana, embodiment mind moments. So here I will use very simple mental process. Notaravajana, mind-advancing consciousness, and 7 javanas, and also 2 dadaramanas. So these, in my previous Dhamma talk, I have already explained Notaravajana, also similar to Vatapana, determination. I have already explained the dharam, 2 dadaramanas, but today I have to talk about only javanas, mind moments. When we talk about lobha javana, we have already talked about desirable objects. When we have attachment to something, taking past object or present object or future objects, Then there will be lobha, greed, attachment or craving. Then there will be sajada type, connaissance condition. Hetu, root condition, because lobha is one of the roots. Whenever lobha arises, there will be moha together with it. Then we also have activity, predominant. So here we have 4 different predominant factors. The first one is chanda, desire, supreme desire or very powerful desire. We can also say willingness. If we have very strong willing minds or willingness, we can do whatever thing we like. We can achieve whatever thing we expect. This is called activity. Then we also have chitta, the mind. Sometimes our mind itself is very powerful. Like 2 roots, 3 roots is very powerful. Like it can be activity. Then we have viriya, efforts, mental energy or bodily energy. If we are very diligent, we can be successful. We can get whatever thing we expect. That is why it's also called activity. Finally, we have vimamsa, wisdom. When we have very strong wisdom, we are wiser, we can do faster, we can do better, then we can also achieve whatever thing we expect or we like. That's when they are also called activity. Together with the lobha, there will be viriya, efforts, mental energy, and bodily energy. They also can be chanda, desire. They also can be chitta, but no wisdom. When we have lobha, we don't have wisdom. Anyway, they have 3 activities. One of them can be very powerful, then we can also achieve something. Then we have a sajada. All the nama will arise together and perish together. Then we have anyamanya, mutuality. Then they are interdependent. They support each other, arising together. Then nisaya, dependent. So that means nama, among the nama mentalities, so that means consciousness and mental factors. We can also say 4 mental aggregates. 1 aggregate can support 3. The 3 aggregates can support 1. Then 2 aggregates can support 2. 2 aggregates can support another 2. So that means they support each other. This is also called nisaya, dependent. Then karma. As long as there's a jirana, volition, in the mind moments, there can be karma. In every single mind moment, there is a jirana, there will be karma condition. The ahara, nutriment. We have mental nutriment. For example, mind itself is also nutriment. Phassa, the context, is also nutriment. Then feeling, vedana is also nutriment. I should have already explained this one in my previous Dhamma talk. Then indriya, faculty condition. There will be chitta, we call manindriya. We also have viriya, efforts. This is also virindriya. Ekaggata also can be samadhindriya and so on. Then there will be indriya condition. Then jhana. Okay, lobha also can be jhana condition. Right? When we have lobha, our mind will focus in one thing, right? That's why it also can be jhana condition. There can be vitaka, vichara, and some jhana factors that rise together with lobha. then mega. As we have a right view, we also have a wrong view. Then in the case of lobha, it can be wrong view. Then that also can be mega. There are also many other associated factors that can rise together with lobha. That's fine. We can also say, for example, samadhi, concentration. When we have lobha, our mind can concentrate in one thing, but not with great intention. But anyway, this is also called mega. Then sambayutta. In my previous talk also, I have explained what's really called sambayutta. That means all the mentalities must arise together. Also, they will perish together. They will take the same object. They will have the same base. When we have these four conditions, it will be sambayutta. Then ati, existence, or we can also say presence. Then avikata, non-disappearance. Then these are the conditions that arise at the time of javana. Especially here we talk about lobha javana. Then similarly, we may also have a dosa javana. We may also have moha javana. But when we talk about moha javana, it will be a little bit different. In the case of moha is, for example, with lobha, we have a choice. We have designable objects. In the case of moha, no choice. Whether we like or dislike, moha is a moha. For example, doubt or skepticism. Whether we like or dislike, if we suspect something or we have doubt, there's no choice. In the case of lobha, if we train ourselves, sure, we can overcome lobha. Then again, restlessness. If we cannot control our minds, there will be restlessness, no choice. We can train our mind, sure, we can subside our minds. Anyway, when moha javana arises, then it will be different conditions. Then no motivity. Moha cannot be activity anymore. Then we have anandara type. It will be the same in the process. Anandara means continuity. So whenever there is anandara means preceding one and succeeding one, we call anandara type. For example, Manodara Vachana to the first javana. So Manodara Vachana is mind adverting, we call mind adverting. After that, javana is impulsion. In the case of lobha, for example, when we see something we like, we have attachment to it, then there will be javanas, impulsion by moments. Then it will be anandara, also samanandara. Whenever there's anandara, there must be samanandara. Continuity. Then again, upanisaya, powerful dependence. Then we have nati, absence. When Manodara mind adverting consciousness disappear, javana arise. Two mind moments cannot arise at the same time. So preceding mind moment pass away, or perish, then succeeding mind moment will arise. That's why nati condition. After mind adverting consciousness disappear, the first impulsion will arise. Then similarly, vikata, disappearance. So these are 5 conditions, commonly called anandara type, continuity type, we call it in English. Whenever there's anandara, there must be these 5. So similarly, we may have another one. The first jhavana do, second jhavana. Here, in this case, we have to think about one more thing. It's repetition. The first one, out of that, second one is also jhavana. The third one also jhavana. Fourth also jhavana. Fifth also jhavana. Sixth also jhavana. Then the last one is also jhavana. This is called repetition. That is why there will be one more condition that is called asevana, repetition condition. So repetition conditions can be found only in the jhavana mind moment. If there's no jhavana mind moment, we cannot find any asevana. Then again, we have to know many other mental process. Okay, now the last one. The last one is meka vichi. That means when somebody attains path and fruition knowledge, then this mental process will arise. The first one is mind-o mental process. The first one is mind-o abiding consciousness, noravajana. We have parikama, preparation. Then we also have upachara, the aspects to path and fruition. Then we also have anuloma, conformity, with waddling emotions. And we can also say maintaining emotions and subramanian emotion, conformity between these two. Finally, Kudravu, Chinchok lineage. This is the last mind moments for ordinary life. After that, we have meka. That means path knowledge. So up to Quadrabu, here the Y is a G, right? G means Quadrabu, change of lineage. This is the last mind moment for worldly people. When worldly people attain Sadapati, after that mind moment, it will be Meka, Sadapati Meka. There's 3 and 3 path knowledge. After that, we have 2 fruition mind moments. So that means here we have 1 meka, 2 phala. Actually, 2 phala can also say repetition, right? But that was too short. We cannot say repetition. After that, we have bhavanga, no more phala, no more fruition. So when we have these types of mental process, now we also have to know the connection between path and fruition. So path is actually wholesome minds, wholesome embodied consciousness. Phala, fruition is resetting consciousness. But anyway, we also say fruition embodied. Actually, we don't say other resetting consciousness as embodied, but here fruition is also embodied. In Bali, Javana. So, according to this mental process, okay, Manoravachana do Parikama, it will be Anandara, Samanandara, Upanisaya, Nati, Vikata, but no Asivana. Similarly, Parikama do Upachara. It also can be another type. But in this time, Parikama is also wholesome, Upachara is also wholesome. Also can be asevana. Anyway, finally we can talk about meka and phala. When meka and phala, path and fruition knowledge arise, we have one more conditions. That is karma. We call in Bali anandara karma, continuity karma. Whenever we talk about karma, we can summarize. Sāchata Karma, this is Chirana, the volition, the mental factors that arise together with all other mental factors and consciousness. This is Sāchata type. Then we also have Nanakritika Karma, different moments. For example, past karma will produce present results. Past karma will produce present karmacha rupas. Karma produce materialities. This is called Nanakritika Karma. Now, here we have to talk about Anandara Karma. Past knowledge, Mekha is the cause. Fruition knowledge is the effect. Another thing is Mekha is a karma. Then Phala is fruition is a vipaka. That is why karma and vipaka we call karma condition. This is called another karma. This is special conditions in this mental process. So in brief, in today's Dhamma talk, we have already talked about different objects. Then again, when we talk about Mekha and Phala, this object also can be Aramana activity type. I didn't write down that condition anymore. I don't have any slideshow, but you can review today's Dhamma talk. So here, Mekha also take Nibbana as object. Phala also take Nibbana as object. Whenever the Sotapatti, the three enter into fruition attainments, his mind will take Nibbana as object. The Nibbana will influence this kind of consciousness. This is the influential object for Mekha and Phala. Then, when they review also, it can be influential, attractive for their objects, then also can be activity type, Aramana activity type. Okay, the main thing is Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, Arhat. Whenever they enter into their fruition attainment, their mind will take Nibbana as objects. At the time, Nibbana will be influential. So that means we have different mindsets, different types of mind, different level of minds. Different mind have different influential objects, different highly esteemed objects. We have lobha, we have wholesome minds, we have unwholesome minds, we also have functional consciousness. Then here we have past and fruition knowledge. Everything have different objects. They have, every consciousness have objects, but it will be different power, different influence, different value. That's why we have different types of conditions. Then similarly, Sāchata type. In different mind moments may have different associated mental factors. That is why it will be different conditions. For our another type, we don't need to think about too much. We don't need to think about it too much. Preceding one and succeeding one. Preceding mind moments and succeeding mind moments, in any conditions, it will be another type. So today we have already talked about in the Javana, it will be a Sivana type. In the sense of Mekha and Phala, it can be another Karma type. There will be the last thing we have to explain about another type. Okay, so next Dhamma talk will be about Jhana Javanas, Jhana impulsions. It will be the last topic for Patana relationship. Okay, so may you all be able to practice the Buddha's teaching. Also, may you all be able to realize the final sensations, Nibbana.
Thank you, Bhante. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Bhante, we will now take questions from the floor.
Pandami Bhante.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to ask about what is the difference when someone do the kusala karma as other merit with the right field, and someone do the kusala or merit without right field. Is it any difference in we discuss from the Abhidhamma perspective? Thank you, Ban.
Okay. Good question. So, actually, samadhi, right view, is also wisdom. Then, if we don't have samadhi, we don't have wisdom. We can also understand like that. Samadhi means here in the case of dana, when we offer, we have to understand it must be valuable or it must be beneficial for the receiver. If we understand like that, it will be samadhi. So without thinking for the benefit of the receiver, if we just offer normally, we cannot say right view, right? So, okay, the main thing is, you may know the Pali words, 3 roots in Pali, ti he dukkha. Now we also have 2 roots. We also say dui he dukkha. Without right view, that means without wisdom, if we accumulate any kusala karma, it can be only 2 roots. If we have right view, it can be 3 roots. So if that karmas produce the next life, we can be reborn as 2 roots or 3 roots. For example, if we accumulated the dana, if we have offered something with right view, we can be reborn as 3 roots. If we offer without right view, we can be reborn as 2 roots. 3 roots can attain jhana, path, and fruition knowledge. 2 roots cannot attain. Although they can practice well, it will be quite different. I think it's enough, right?
Respect to Sādhu Kovida. I have 2 questions. First one is, I was so excited that when Bendy mentioned the mega, sorry, my English is not good, but I hope Bendy can understand the mega mind when he takes nibbana as the object. It's very influential. Does it mean the nibbana, the object, influence the mind, cut off deity?
Okay. In this case, okay, path and fruition knowledge can take only nibbana as an object. Path and fruition knowledge cannot take any other object. Okay? So their mind is influenced by only nibbana. That means path and fruition knowledge consciousness are influenced by nibbana objects. Other object cannot take. Okay? This
my question is, I'm wondering how does it happen when taking nibbana as object, then it can cut off deity, the wrong view. I mean, as Sadhana.
I see. Okay. So you lit candlelights in the room, for example. Right? You lit a candlelight in the room, right? At the same time, the light appear, the darkness disappear. You just lit candlelight, right? The light appear, then the darkness also disappear, right? Then your vision become very clear. So that means it can affect many things. Similarly, path and fruition knowledge will take nibbana as objects, then sure, it will also path knowledge will cut wrong view. And ditthi vicikicca, right? Cut totally, like removing the darkness. It will be the light, right? It will remove darkness. Then it will remove wrong view. It will remove doubt. Then take nibbana as an object. Okay, like trying to take candlelight in your room now.
I see. That part I can understand a little bit. I'm just interested in the process that is that because the Nibbana is totally like he see there is no nama rupa, there is a Nibbana, there's no nama rupa, so there's no self, something like that. I mean, the self is just our own creation.
Okay, we cannot say own creation. So that means here we can say anatta means not only creation. Anatta has many different meanings of anatta. Non-sami, we have many different meanings, right? For example, we have a sami, the ownership. So in the sense of nibbana, no ownership, nobody owns the nibbana, right? That's why it's also called anatta. Then nivasi means living, everlasting living beings, right? For example, like in some traditions, for example, like a consciousness were changed to another body, reborn as another human being, another living beings like that. But in Buddhism, we don't have that kind of belief. We don't have that kind of concept. Yeah, that means we don't have everlasting entity. Never also have we're gonna say never has everlasting entity. No entity in there. That's why no nivasi. Then karaka, doer. Who made nibbana? Nobody will make nibbana. It will be there as an object. Nobody can make it, right? That's it. So okay, the main thing is, so this is not under our control. That's what we call anatta. This is the one thing. Okay, so it will be many different other meanings. Okay.
Thank you, Monday. My second question is, when Monday mentioned Wu Jianyuan, Anattara, yeah, Anattara. I have always heard that lot of okay, maybe this one I'll ask in future. Maybe I'll ask this one. Example for the karma, karma, this one. When we have the power of the samadhi and the practice vipassana, when we see the nama rupa, we can also see the conditions, these 24 conditions. But this is kind of a kind of power, right? How in vipassana, when someone, how did he see, oh, this is the past karma to lead to this, the link, the power, and then how to, is it feel it, or how to be sure of it?
Okay, so before we practice Patana relationship, we also have to practice dependent origination. Past and present, actually all the relationship in the dependent origination is the same, right? So if we can know dependent origination, we can also know Patana. Only slightly different. Okay, in the case of Parijasmobhada, dependent origination, only cause and effect. But here in the Patana, 3, cause, effect, and condition, only changing the system. Okay, that is why if we can know dependent origination, we can also know Patana easily. Okay.
So the conditions is like a power we can feel. It's a link,
Sure.
we can feel it.
Sure. Between this link, we have this kind of condition. Okay.
Okay.
Between cause and effects, between the relationship, there will be condition, right? Okay.
Thank you, Sādhu.
Good evening, Sādhu. In the idol mental process, may I say that it is the investigating consciousness, Santirana, that determines the karma, the unwholesome or wholesome javanas to arise?
Actually, investigation is not that much powerful to decide wholesome or unwholesome, right? Clearly, wholesome and unwholesome would be okay. So we can say another one. You know, yoniso manasikara, right?
Yes.
In the sense of yoniso manasikara, it can be considered as a determination. What happened? What happened is javana patipadaka manasikara, right? We can also say this is yoniso manasikara. it can decide. For for other Jakuvinyana, Samrichana, Sarina, they cannot decide anything.
Okay. Now, thank you, Bante. So my second question is, for example, Aramana, I like ice cream. So whenever I see ice cream, the lower mind will arise. Now, if I learn to practice Vipassana, and I will learn to also turn away from this object. So will the conditions of Adipati Upanisaya still be there when I know how to practice Vipassana? Like Anicca, Dukkha, Anatta on the object, yeah.
Actually, if you are not influenced by that object, we cannot say activity anymore. Right? So for example, like when I was a childhood, I like star fruit. But I have a sickness because after eating star fruit too much, I got fever. I got sick. And from that time, I don't eat star fruit anymore. Right? So in the very beginning, star fruit is influencing my mind. Whenever I see star fruits, I want to eat. But later, when I know that's not that much good for my health, I stop eating. Right? So after that, although I see it, I don't have any intention to eat. I don't have any appetite to eat. Because the main thing is, if the objects influence you, then this activity. If the object cannot influence your mind, we cannot say activity anymore. No more activity at that time. Okay?
All right. Okay. For example, when I see the ice cream, I forgot about the Vipassana. Then I remember, it's Anicca, Dukkha, Anatta. Okay, I remember the idol mental process. Will the conditions that influence this mental process happen? A change?
Okay, so after changing the mind, we're gonna say activity anymore. Before changing, there will be, and then before changing, there's also mental process, right? And then mental process, it will be activity. It will be activity. After changing, no more activity.
Okay, what about Upanisaya?
Okay, it will be the same. If there's activity, there must be Upanisaya.
All right. So if there's no Adipati, no Upanisaya.
No Upanisaya, sure.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
So as we know that in the Javana, in the mental process, the first Javana is the weakest. But Davido had heard a statement mentioned that the last Javana is the seventh Javana is the strongest among them. So the question is whether the last Javana is the strongest or the second weakest. This is the question. Sadhu Sādhu, Vandami Sādhu.
I think talk about maybe, we have 4 types of karma, right? The first one is Desha Dhamma Varaniya karma, right? Another one is Upapaja Varaniya karma, right? We have that one. Okay, the main thing is if we have, we're gonna say which one. Okay, it depends on the conditions. The main thing is when they are to give results, they have the same power. Okay. So actually, I haven't never found any statement like that. Okay.
Okay, Sadhu. So Sādhu. So the answer is as we decide the last Javana is the second weakest, as we have learned before. This is the decision, is it?
Okay.
Okay, Sadhu.
Okay,
Sadhu.
okay, sure.
Okay, Sadhu. Vandami Sādhu. Sadhu.
Her question was, in the practice of Paticca a meditator should discern the cause and the effect, whereas in Patthana, the meditator has to know the conditions besides the cause and effect. So her question was, for a Vipassana practitioner, they have to contemplate the cause and effect as Anicca, Dukkha, Anatta. So how about when she is practicing Patthana, that she has to contemplate Anicca, Dukkha, Anatta for these 3 factors, cause, effect, and condition also?
Okay. So surely when we talk about, okay, if we can also do Nijjata Anatta in anything, any cases like this, right? We can also do anything. But mostly in Pa'autoya, we don't teach Nijjata Anatta in Patana. We just teach only cause and relationship and condition. It's also possible to practice Nijjata Anatta. Okay?
So
the first question, dear Bhante, may I ask, since these three types of nama ahara, namely phassa, mano sancetana, and vijnana, can be found in all mind moments, can we say that for all nama sahajata, there will be ahara condition, please? Thank you, Bhante.
Okay, so actually, if we can find one of the three also, this is also ahara. If we can find all of them also, we can say nama ahara, right? Yeah, okay, we can say for all nama ahara, sure. Or for all nama, there will be ahara condition without any exception. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Bhante. The next question. Bhante, could you explain the Antara brief example in conventional truth versus ultimate truth?
Anandara.
Yeah.
Okay. Example of the conventional truth. Okay. So, okay, Anandara means, okay, so now I'm sitting on the chair. As long as I don't stand up, I don't leave the chair, nobody can sit in this chair anymore, right? This means I occupy the chair. So when I leave, then second one can come and sit. This is the way we have to understand Anandara. So when somebody disappears, the second one can be there. So this is called the way of Anandara according to the concept. We have another one, like the king and throne prince. When the king pass away or when the king leave for sometimes to go somewhere, then the throne prince can take over all the duties of the king, like this. So when the first moment disappears, the second moment will take over its duty like that. We can understand like that. Okay? Another question?
The next question. Dear Bhante, may I ask, in a mind door process, when the mind takes either concept or nibbana as object, will there be Purijata condition, please? Thank you, Bhante, for Aramanya group.
Okay. So in the sense of Aramanya group, we have many different types. We can say it like that. Okay. So the first thing is, okay, you can say like nibbana and concept, right? So in the case of Purijata type, okay, I should see Aramana Purijata first. Okay. Sorry. Okay. When we talk about Aramana Purijata, it must be ultimate reality. If we just have the concept, we cannot say it is Aramana Purijata. Okay. That means it can be Buddhicharya, but it cannot, actually in the concept, right? It will disappear. We cannot say Nichara, we cannot say the present state, standing state, position state. That's why we cannot say Aramana Buddhicharya in the case of concept. Then for about Nibbana, okay. In the case of Nibbana is also timeless, free from time. We cannot say present, past, future. That's why we cannot say Buddhicharya, right? Okay, then.
Thank you, Bhante. Sadhu. Next question. So this question was from for the Saturday Bhante lesson 9 during the Panchadwara Bhajana and the Votabana moments. Do they also have Nana Kanika Karma?
Okay, so in this case, Panchadwara Bhajana is functional consciousness. Votabana are also functional consciousness. They may not have Nanakanika Karma. Okay, they don't have Nanakanika Karma. Okay, then.
So the last question. Dear Bhante, if the first Javana matures to give results in the same very life, Dita Dhamma Vedaniya, Is this Nana Kanika Karma giving result in the same life, please?
Okay, so here in the case of Nanakanika Karma, the karma must give its result as a resulting consciousness. That is why in the case of the presently affected karma, Dharma will near karma, it will be like, for example, okay, practically we have one story. Right? One of the devotee called Bona. He's a slave of one rich man. So in that very day, one day he had opportunity to offer Venerable Sariputta water and toothpick. As his wife offered rice cure to Venerable Sariputta. In that very day, all the very feet are full of gold like that. So that means it's just material achievement, not like a resulting consciousness. That is why we cannot say Nanakanika Karma. Okay?
Okay. Thank you, Bhante. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Bhante, thank you very much for your teaching today. May we invite Bhante to lead us in making aspirations and sharing of merits?
Okay. Etta vada jahamehi sambadam punya sambadam sabbe deva numodandu sabbe buddha numodandu sabbe satta numodandu sabba sampati siriya idam me nyadinam hotu sukhita hondu nyadayo idam me nyadinam hotu Sukhita hondu nyadayo idam me nyadinam hotu Sukhita hondu nyadayo idam me bunyam asawakaya waham hotu idam me bunyam nibanasa pajayo hotu mama bunya bagam sabasatanam bhajemi te sabe me samam Punya bagam lavandu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, Bhante, and everyone for your time and participation. And also thank you for the translator, Bhante. Till we meet on next Saturday, may all be well and happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.